Men, here's the uncomfortable truth. A cheating wife doesn't just sneak around randomly. She doesn't leave it to chance. She plans. She prepares. She builds strategies that allow her to cheat while keeping you blind to what's really happening. So today, I'm going to break down 5 strategies cheating wives use to cover their tracks. If you recognize even one of these, you need to wake up, because you might not be her only man. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment if you've ever noticed one of these strategies. Your story could save another man from being deceived. Strategy 1. Manipulating her phone and social media. This is the first line of defense for most cheating wives. Her phone isn't just a device anymore, it's her vault. And if you notice that her phone habits have suddenly changed, it's not paranoia, it's a red flag. Here's how it usually plays out. She starts deleting messages more often. She suddenly has new apps on her phone. Maybe a calculator app, a folder that looks harmless, or even secret messaging platforms like Telegram, WhatsApp, with hidden chats, or apps disguised under innocent icons. Contacts are renamed. Mike becomes Sarah. John becomes work. But it goes deeper than just deleting evidence. She'll start changing her passwords on social media accounts you used to share. Instagram stories become more private. She creates fake social media profiles or uses apps you've never heard of. She might even have a second phone that you know nothing about. Watch for these specific behaviors. She suddenly needs privacy while texting, when before she'd text openly. Her phone is always face down now, when it used to sit normally on the table. She takes her phone everywhere, even to the bathroom, when she never used to before. She gets nervous or defensive when you're near her while she's using it. This isn't just casual cleaning, it's calculated. Female psychology shows us that women value control and secrecy. When she's cheating, her phone becomes the weapon she guards with her life. The digital world gives her complete control over what you see and what stays hidden. But here's what really gives them away: overprotection. A woman with nothing to hide doesn't need to guard her phone like state secrets. When you notice her clutching her phone, hiding her screen, or getting jumpy when notifications come through, that's not normal privacy, that's deception. A loyal wife doesn't need to hide her notifications. A cheating wife turns her phone into Fort Knox. Dara strategy. 2. Building plausible alibis. Cheating wives know that an affair requires time away from you, and that time has to be explained. So, what do? They build believable excuses, also known as plausible alibis. The classics are always the same: girls' night out, late night at work, family emergencies, or helping a friend. But here's the trick. She'll weave these excuses into her routine so they don't sound suspicious. For example, she'll start talking about her busy season at work weeks before she needs it. Or she'll casually mention a friend's struggles, so that later, when she says she's out helping her, the story lines up. What makes this strategy so effective is the preparation. She doesn't just lie in the moment. She builds the foundation for her lies weeks or even months in advance. She'll mention work projects that don't exist, create dramatic friend situations that need her constant attention, or suddenly develop new hobbies that require her to be out multiple nights per week. Pay attention to patterns in her excuses. Does she always have a work emergency on the same days? Do her girls' nights always happen when you have other plans? Is she suddenly the go-to person for every friend's crisis? These aren't coincidences. They're strategic scheduling. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Women are natural storytellers and planners. A cheating wife will create elaborate backstories for her absences because she knows that simple lies get caught, but complex, emotionally compelling stories get sympathy and less questions. This is where psychology comes into play. Women are natural planners. A cheating wife isn't improvising. She's planting seeds so her excuses sound believable later. If you find her schedule filled with last-minute plans, vague outings, or repetitive excuses, don't ignore it. She's not being spontaneous, she's building a smokescreen. Strategy 3. Over-explaining details. This one is sneaky. Most people think liars keep their stories short. But here's the twist. Bad liars ramble. When your wife is covering her tracks, she might actually give you too much detail. For example, you ask, "Where were you?" And instead of a simple, "Out with Sarah at the cafe," you get a 10-minute story about where they sat, what drink they ordered, how long they talked, what music was playing in the background. Sounds harmless, right? But psychology tells us that when someone is lying, they overcompensate. They believe that adding extra details will make them sound more convincing. But those unnecessary details are often what give them away. The problem with over-explaining is that it creates too many elements that can be checked or contradicted later. When she tells you exactly what song was playing at the restaurant, what the waitress looked like, and what her friend wore, she's creating a story so detailed that it becomes difficult to maintain consistently. Watch for stories that sound almost scripted or rehearsed. When she recounts her day with the precision of someone reading from notes, that's not good memory. That's preparation. Truthful people give natural, slightly scattered details because that's how real memory works. Here's another red flag. She remembers trivial details perfectly, but can't remember important ones. She'll tell you exactly what kind of salad she ordered, but can't remember what time she got there or when she left. This inconsistency reveals where her mental energy was focused, on building convincing lies, not on living authentic experiences. Here's a simple test. Ask her the same question a few days later. If the details suddenly change, or she can't keep the story consistent, that's not just forgetfulness, that's deception. The most telling sign is when her stories become more elaborate over time. The first time she tells you about her evening out, it's a simple story. But if you ask again later, suddenly there are more characters, more details, more complications. Truth doesn't grow, lies do. A loyal woman doesn't need to rehearse. A cheating wife builds scripts in her head. Strategy 4. Shifting blame onto you. This is one of the most manipulative strategies of all. When you start to notice red flags, instead of answering your concerns, she flips the script and attacks you. It sounds like this. "Why don't you trust me? You're just paranoid. You're insecure, that's the problem." This isn't a real defense. It's psychological warfare. Female psychology shows us that guilt and shame are powerful weapons. By turning the suspicion back on you, she silences your questions. You stop pressing her, not because your instincts are wrong, but because you don't want to feel like the bad guy in the relationship. But the manipulation goes deeper than just deflection. She'll start questioning your mental state, your past, your insecurities. She'll say things like, "You've never trusted anyone," or "This is about your ex, isn't it?" or "You're letting your insecurity ruin our relationship." What she's doing is called gaslighting, making you question your own perception of reality. Instead of explaining why her behavior has changed, she makes you feel crazy for noticing the changes. Instead of providing reassurance about her faithfulness, she makes you feel guilty for needing reassurance. The most dangerous part of this strategy is that it works. Most men don't want to be seen as controlling or insecure. So when she accuses them of these things, they back down. They start questioning whether their concerns are legitimate or whether they're just being paranoid. Watch for the pattern. Every time you bring up a legitimate concern, she turns it into an attack on your character. She never addresses the actual issue. She just attacks your right to bring it up. This is not how an innocent person responds to questions. Here's the harsh truth. If every time you raise a concern, she makes you feel guilty for even asking, she's not being attacked. She's hiding something. A loyal wife reassures you. A cheating wife gaslights you.